I'd rather be with you. Yeah.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to Good Vibes Radio. As every day, almost, I am interviewing an amazing entrepreneur. Today, we are with Thibauld, who is the CEO of Fairmint. And my friends, you can say hello in the chat. Like that, we will feel less alone. You can say hello like that. And you can ask all of your questions to Thibauld. And basically, is to have an interaction, a conversation, Thibauld, to understand what is Fairmint, how it's been for you since the beginning of the crisis, and how you are totally changing the game of investment banking. Can I say that?
Yeah, you can totally say that.
All right. So how are you first?
Yeah, I'm good. So obviously at home, confined. But yeah, so
Where are you based?
So I'm in the US. I'm based in Connecticut. So
this is the house in Connecticut.
This is the house. Yes, this is my office, my everyday office. But well, usually I have my own office, but right now I have my in-laws to help with the children. So I guess my office just moved up to the room.
Cool. And so tell me, what is Fairmint all about?
Well, Fairmint, in one sentence, is the best solution you can have today to turn your stakeholders into investors. And so basically what we're doing is we're reinventing what it means to go public. Usually going public means like waiting some years, being very good, like financial performance to do an IPO. Well, we enable companies to basically become public at any single stage.
What's the goal of being public? It's to raise funds from anyone, from any individuals?
Yes. So the goal is basically Fairmint. We've designed Fairmint with Joris, my co-founder, as like the perfect solution that we would have loved to have when we were entrepreneurs ourselves. And basically, when you're an entrepreneur, like it's always hard to finance your growth, right? You have a lot of options. Actually, you know what? You want me to share real quick my deck? Okay.
Share me your deck.
I know, because I see you. I know you love swag. I have some pandas in there.
Illustrations.
Okay, let me do that. Okay, I won't share everything, but okay. So can you see it?
Yes.
Okay,
yes.
So see, like Panda Power. And so Fairmint, so we're reinventing what it means to go public with a simple Invest Now button. And so the problem we're solving is that...
Sorry, I have to cut you. With a simple Invest Now button, meaning that on my website, for instance, on the family, I can add, if you accept me, we're going to go through your criteria for selection, but if you accept me, I can use a button, put it on my website, and anyone who click on the button can get equity in the family.
Can get access to the financial upside of the family. So yes, like anyone in the world who support the family is able at any single time to click that Invest Now button and invest in the family so that you guys get financing and in return get access to the financial upside of the family and be incentivized to its success.
Okay, so we're going to go through that also. What is it? It's not exactly equity, but it works like equity. But you cannot use the term equity because it's not purely equity.
Exactly.
Okay, go for it.
And so yeah, the problem we're solving is that as an entrepreneur, it's always super hard to access capital markets. Like when you want to raise funds, you either go on the private route where you talk to banks, you talk to VCs, like it is super highly intermediated, very biased process, very time consuming, or you go the public route, but then like it's another type of complexity. It's very costly, it's very long. It's also capital that is very hard to reach. And so what Fairmint is bringing is really like this new paradigm. Continuous financing. And so continuous financing means that it's a revolution. Instead of you, the entrepreneur, like hitting the road and trying to convince people to buy your shares and to invest in your company, what you do is you set up directly on your website the conditions so that at any single time, anyone in the world is able to invest in your project, in your organization, in your company. So that's a real paradigm change because instead of going after the capital, you set the conditions so that the capital can come to you. And yeah, like just I stop soon, but very quickly is really complementary solutions to all the solutions that exist today when you want to finance your company. So you have all the debt solution like factoring, debts. Now you also have like revenue share, and if you need jet fuel to finance your growth, you have capital. And the common denominator of all the solutions is that they are very exclusive. So the ones who provide the money are like banks, are professional investors. And so where continuous financing really shines is that it's the only super inclusive solution that enables anyone to have access to the upside of a company. And Fairmint was just this, like to enable those companies to turn their stakeholders into investors using continuous financing. We've built Fairmint. And I'll stop there because I'm not.
Yes, I love your slides.
Yeah, full of pandas. Like Panda is like our designers work great on this. Like they came up with this whole universe.
So just to get an understanding of where you are right now, in which stage are you already operating? Do you have clients?
Yes, so we are already operating. We have clients who are live since mid of April.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Okay. Okay, and you really have to explain Fairmint as if I were your grandma. Like, for instance, what is the main difference with crowdfunding for equity?
So there's a lot of difference. So first difference is that it's not, it doesn't happen on another website than your website. So instead of directing users to another website, like you use your user, all the interaction happens on your website. So that's a big difference. Second big difference is that it's not based on the campaign. Like if you do crowdfunding, like basically you have to stop focusing on your business and to just like market yourself like crazy during 30, 60 days to make a successful crowdfunding campaign. And so here is like fully continuous. You don't have to stop working. You just say, hey, like you invest at any single time. You can invest now, you can invest later. But the twist is that the earlier you invest, the cheaper also the price of the security is. We'll come back to that later. But there's an incentive. If you're bullish on the company, there's an incentive of investing early rather than late. And so that's another big difference. And finally, as we're not based on equity, because equity, our take is that it's not a very mainstream financial instrument, because equity, if you want to be serious about equity, then you need to build a portfolio of company, because you need to have like that one company that's going to do IPO, that's going to exit, that's going to return and cover for all the losses of the others. And so the fact that equity is super illiquid doesn't make it a very useful instrument for your mom or my father, right? And so this is why, like when you use Fairmint, you buy an instrument that is much more liquid, because basically after a year, you need to keep it at least a year, but after a year, you can trade it freely. And so that is a big plus, because your positions are not illiquid as it is with equity. And last but not least, it's not reserved to early stage companies. On the contrary, like any type of company, if you do like your early stage or your seed, your Series A, your pre-IPO, you can use continuous financing at any stage.
So right now, what you're telling me is that I cannot lose my money.
Well, no, you can lose your money. You can. It's still risk, right? If the company is doing badly, you can lose money. Like so, there's no capital guarantee or anything.
All right. It's really totally aligned with the performance of the company.
Yeah, if the company is shit, you're gonna lose your money.
Okay, and so that's a dream. It looks like a dream. Now tell me, it's not like accessible. Sorry, my cat is putting his tail. So in front of the camera like that. So what kind of company can access to Fairmint? What are the targeted companies?
So right now we work with companies that are generating revenues. So it's companies that already have their business model validated, that are growing. And so right now the two criteria really that we filter companies on is really like, do you make revenues and are you growing? And so those are the best companies to use continuous financing today. Okay,
but give me an example.
So example is so we have like where we see traction right now. We see traction is like 3 different segments. So one of the segments is, for example, if you have an open source SaaS product. So you're a commercial company, but you're based on a product that is full open source. And so basically you have this different relationship with all your community, right? And so in that case, what you want is you really want to turn your community into like incentivized stakeholders so that everybody benefits from the success of the product. And so yeah, that's one case. Another case is like marketplaces. Like you have a marketplace, either like you are Uber type marketplace, and we're discussing with some, or you are freelancer type marketplace. And then the big thing that you want to do is you want to build a competitive edge to basically incentivize your best like drivers, hosts, freelancers to grow their business on your platform and not go to their competitors. And so to do that, you also use Fairmint to align their incentive to their financial incentive to the success of the platform.
Okay, Gerald is asking if you are targeting B2C or B2B.
Well, so it can work for B2B, but the goal here, one of the big things about continuous financing is that it allows you to market your securities directly from your website. So the more you have of a customer base of traffic, of visitors, of users, of people that you can market your securities to, the better. So if you are like an obscure B2B company, then it still means that you will have to tell people, hey, by the way, you can go on my website and invest. If you already have this natural traffic or natural customer, natural audience, it's obviously easier.
All right. How it's been for you since the beginning of the crisis?
Well, it's been like I'd say as usual. The only main difference is that now kids are at home, and so I have 2 little kids. So we brought in the in-laws immediately when we saw that everything was closing, so that we could survive. But yeah, like the company, like Fairmint is a fully remote and distributed company from day one. So yeah, before I was working in front of my computer and not in an office, and now I'm working in front of my computer, not in an office. So that aspect, it didn't change.
Same.
Yeah, same. But that's good. That's great.
Yeah, Thibauld, we should talk about the fact that behind this solution, there is blockchain.
Yes.
Because it's part of the explanation of how it's possible and why it's possible today.
Yeah.
Maybe. And never forget you are talking to your grandma.
Yes, I'm talking to my grandma. So yes, no, indeed. Like this is what the solution that Fairmint brings is uniquely enabled by blockchain or DeFi if you're in the blockchain world. So, and why is that? It's just because so usually to bring a product like Fairmint to the market, you would need to have crazy regulations. Like you would need to spend tons of money to get the right partnership with the right bank, to get the approval, the regulatory approval. And here, like the way we use crypto in a way that enables like our customers to have like this investment experience that is great directly on their website without being anything of this. They don't need to be a money transmitter. They don't need to be a custodian. They don't need to be a broker dealer. And that's just because crypto enables them to propose this service without having at any time money flowing through them. Because like all the regulations are here to protect people and they protect people by regulating people who will touch the money, right? If you don't touch the money, then you don't need regulation. And so that's where we really use crypto. Because for example, if you go today on Fairmint, so Fairmint has its own continuous offering and you click on that Invest Now button and you sign up. Then like once you sign up under the hood, you're going to be creating your own portfolio. But like at no time, Fairmint will touch the money that you put inside. And we will only touch the money if you decide to invest. And then you invest some money. And then the money you invest will go through our portfolio. And here we can take it. But so the beauty about blockchain is that we are able to create all this money interaction in a completely decentralized way. So without us, Fairmint, ever touching like all this, you don't need to trust us for the system to work. And so this is why it is really cool. It's because like we don't need to be regulated, our customers don't need to be regulated. And so for the first time, you can have this Invest Now button and this investment experience directly on your website. And on top of that, I would just say this, on top of that, like the UX is great because like we did a great, even though like when you say crypto, it's like, oh, crypto, this is difficult. I don't understand anything. Well, try it. Go to invest.fairmint.co. Try it. You will not see an ounce of crypto, and yet it's full crypto based. So that is really cool. And finally, it's independence. Like if you were to do that in the traditional world, you like heavily rely and depend. So if he cries, it's my son. No worries.
Yeah, it's okay. It's cool. We're tolerant.
And so you would rely on that big partnership with a bank. We would rely on a big regulation, and here we are self-sufficient. We rely on blockchain working, which is easy to rely on.
Yes, I've seen that. I mean, just in terms of marketing, you don't talk about crypto anywhere on the website, on the offer. I mean, it's really for the people who want to dig into it.
It's like SaaS, right? Like when you use a product, like we use Opt-in. Is Opt-in using Google Cloud or is Opt-in using AWS Cloud? You don't give a fuck. And so the same, like with crypto, people just want things to work. They don't give a damn if it's crypto behind which blockchain or anything, as long as it works. And so yeah.
It's true. It's totally true. And I'm always fighting against the super engineer who is explaining everything about how it works rather than why we should use it and what are the benefits. But the thing is, in your case, I'm very curious because it's changing so much, the status quo in terms of what we can and what we can't do when it comes to raising money. That's why, it's a part of the reason why you can innovate in that sector.
Ultimately, if I crypto for a long time now, and it's because I think, like, if I go to the deepest reason, like why Fairmint, why did we build Fairmint, is that like we came to the realization that in the end, to change the society, you need to change the economy. Right, two are linked. But to change the economy, you need to change how it is financed. And if you don't change how it is financed, then like you're on this circle that cannot be broken. Like and this is why like income inequality.
And you can change how is it financed either by changing the law or making it possible technically.
Exactly. We are disintermediating completely capital markets. So before, in order to touch the money, you need to add through some gates, right? Banks, VCs, and now we're allowing a complete disintermediation of this. So anytime any person in the world who supports your product, your mission, what you're doing, has the ability to come and invest directly. And so that's a massive paradigm change. And what we think it will bring is that it will unlock massive, financial product that billions of people will be able to access, because the way we see things is that like there's a lot of income inequalities and wealth inequalities in the world, and those inequalities are being perpetuated because of how the economy is financed, because it's always the biggest returns come to the same person. And if you're not just an average Joe, you cannot invest in those like wealth building financial product, especially in the US where they have these accreditation rules. Like if you don't earn at least $200,000 a year, or if you don't have at least $1 million in assets, you cannot invest in startup. It's crazy. And so this is why, like if you're a normal person, the only thing you can do is put your money on the savings accounts and earn maybe 1% a year if you're lucky. And so here, by doing this, you enable, as a user, you use tons of product every day. And there's tons of products I wish I could invest in. Like Hop-in. Hop-in is great. I wish I had this like invest now button on Hop-in right now, because it is a great product, and I want it to succeed, and I want also to benefit from its success because I love it, I use it, so I create value, and so I should be able to do this, and that's the thing we unlock, and we think this is the next phase of capitalism. We're going towards a stakeholder-centric capitalism. We're coming from a shareholder-centric capitalism towards a stakeholder-centric capitalism. And a big thing to unlock this is to enable stakeholders to invest. And that's what we're doing.
That's super clear. I guess that a lot of companies are on the waiting list, right?
Yeah, so we have right now 121 companies, and like every day we receive at least one more. So it is like what we see is that it talks to people. People are like, they want to build great things, but differently. Like so, of course, some of them are already raising VC. So it's really not mutually exclusive. You can raise VC and you can do continuous financing, and this is really important because VC is very useful when you need to push the pedal and accelerate. Yep,
Sorry. When you say a continuous financing, is it an idiomatic expression that you've created yourself?
Yes, we created it, but we're still debating if it's the best. Like,
because so what does it mean?
So some people tell us like, oh, maybe you should use community financing. It resonates more.
Yes, it's better. I think that's the strongest part of what you just explained. The fact that anyone can be part of the success and benefit from the success of a company.
Yeah. So there you go. Like, so we might change it, but yeah, because the idea is that like in 2-3 years, this will become ubiquitous. It's just should be normal. Like you create your company, you incorporate, and from day one, you should be able to receive financing.
Do you have any competitors?
So right now we don't really have competitors just because we invented this model. So I guess our competitors are more like so on the higher end, like we see our competitors are being all the big underwriters, like the JP Morgan, the Goldman Sachs, and all these guys who bring companies to the market and do their IPO. And other than this, like on the crypto side, like there's these companies like helping to do like ICOs, but the problem is ICOs, like the model clearly doesn't work. It's not sound. It's prone to too much prone to scams. So right now, exactly on this model, we're really creating the category. And so that's why also we created smart contracts that are completely open source, because we want others to use our smart contracts and do continuous financing for their own project. Even if Fairmint is involved or not, that's not an issue for us. And actually so it's like very crypto-ish, but there's a team in crypto that reuse our smart contract and that already raised $1.3 million in less than 3 weeks using our smart contracts. And so we're super happy about this, because it shows the need. People wants to invest, and companies wants people to invest in their venture.
Gerald is asking, as an investor, we invest in companies in crypto? No, and it's not fiat, right?
So it's a trick. So basically, it is crypto, but it is like what we call stable coins. So basically, the way you would fund your account with your credit card or with like a bank transfer. But then in the way, like your money becomes transformed into what we call a stable coin. So you send like fiat USD, and what arrives on your account is like digital USD. So we call it like USDC. But so you're not exposed to the volatility of crypto or anything like this. And if we don't have a crypto wallet, you manage yes, you don't need to know anything about crypto to be an investor. Like literally, you can go. I'll put the link here if you want to try it. So I won't be mad if you don't invest, but you can just try the experience. Invest at Fairmint.co, and this is the experience. It's full crypto behind. You won't see an ounce of crypto.
Mm. How many companies do you want to start with?
So right now we're creating this category, we have limited bandwidth in terms of human resources. We are really focusing on lending bigger and bigger companies. So for this year, our target is to have like 10 continuous financing live. So that's the goal. And obviously, if things go well, like we have our own continuous offering, if we raise money, then we'll try to go faster. But our goal is really to establish continuous financing or community financing as the next explosive category.
This topic is super cool. You're not a first-time entrepreneur, Thibauld. I haven't been asking you the basic question that I ask to everyone, like where do you come from, what's your background, and what makes you finally create Fairmint?
Okay, I'll try to make it short, but so yes, I'm a software engineer by trade. Not many people know this, but I also have a degree in corporate finance. So I was supposed to be a banker, but I'm the only one from this promotion that decided to go back to software because this is what I love. And so my first company was a company called All My Apps. I started in 2008. It was literally the first app store for PC. And so at the time, in total, we raised $3 million to develop it. So it was in France. Basically, so we brought the company to profitability. We had up to 3 million monthly active users. And because at this moment, my goal was like, it's funny because as an entrepreneur, you always have to be like motivated by something. And since I was like in engineering school, my motivation that I wanted my mom to be able to use my computer, like to use computers. And so creating an app store would basically help people like make fully use of their computer. And so, but in the end, like we were not fast enough on the market. A guy named Steve Jobs came along, invented the App Store on mobile, and then like basically like, okay, everybody now knows how to use like devices. And so, and this is when like when I sold the company was in 2014. I sold the company after I really reflected on what's next for me, like what I want to do now. And this is when like things started looking bad, like so first on the political side, but like you could see already these inequalities rising and all that. So I was like, okay, what's the most impactful thing I can work on right now? And I convinced my former lawyer at all my apps, and we started a nonprofit in France that was called laprimaire.org. So the idea was like to disrupt political parties by creating this massively transparent and open primary to crowdsource the best candidate for the French presidential election. And so we did this. So we did this with like a shoestring budget, but he ended up like attracting 150,000 people. And we did lots of innovation on this. And we got one great candidate. The only problem is that I was developing the platform live while it was happening. And so we ended up like the candidate came up on January 1st of the year of the election. And so we only had 45 to 2 months to get 500 signatures from town mayors to put her on the ballot. And so she got 134 in 45 days. So that was pretty cool. And the curve was good, but we lacked some time to put her on the ballot. And so at that time, like after the election, this is when like I was already deep into crypto, and I was now like convinced that crypto was like what made me most hopeful for the world by decentralizing power structures. And so this is when you guys say, hey, like Thibauld, come and join us. Like we need somebody to take care of crypto at the family. And so we worked together for then like what it was like a year and a half, 2 years. And so long story short, after some time, I told you guys, say, hey, you know what? I think I have this crazy idea. And that was basically like the basic concept of Fairmint. And I remember talking to someone saying, I think it's stupid, but nobody has been able to tell me why it's stupid right now. So maybe it's not that stupid. And so would you be okay to like continue like financing me, but instead of working on the family, I work on this and I give you shares of my company? And you said yes, because you're nice guys and you believe in me, which I'd be eternally grateful for. And so yes, that's how it started. And in the end, so this is when I reconnected with Joyce. We released a white paper. It was in late 2018.
So you started with this white paper. Can you tell us what it was all about, and why did you choose to go through this first?
Well, it's because literally at the beginning, it was just an idea. And so I was asking all my friends, tell me why it's stupid, tell me why it doesn't work. And nobody was able to tell me why it would not work. They were all surprised by the idea. But
what was the question? Why can't we raise money to anyone?
So no, it was more technical than this. Like at this time, I had no like clear, perfect pitch. Like basically what we use in crypto terms is something that we call bonding curves, which is a crypto primitive. And so basically I was trying to reinvent capital formation using this crypto primitive. And so, but it changes a lot of paradigm that we're used to. And so I started like explaining this to people, and people were like, well, that looks interesting. And I don't see like why it wouldn't work. And this is why like at the end I said, okay, can I write something comprehensive, like a end-to-end model that would work using this? So that is the white paper. And this is at this moment also that I reconnected with Joris, because Joris was not in crypto at all, but he was like working on doing a startup exchange using the SPVs of all the startups, so to provide liquidity to investors. And so it's two friends of us, like Solomon Hikes from
SPV being a special purpose vehicle.
Exactly, like when you cumulatively invest in a company, you create an SPV, and this SPV is actually the one investing in the company. And so it's two friends of ours, like Solomon Hikes from Docker and Marie Eklund, who was my investor at all my apps, who reconnected us, and this is how we started working together. But yeah, I started with the white paper just because I needed to convince myself that it was working. And I was like, if I cannot write something that makes sense, then it's probably not working. And so that was the first step.
All right. And Joris is here.
Hey, Joris.
Not only as it is a very additive financing to other types of financing, debt, factoring, VC money.
So, well, you see, yes, I say Joris. Yeah. And I see like Le Gypsy is asking, do you use your own tool to raise funding for Fairmint? Yes, go to invest.fairmint.co. You can. We also use VC financing. Huh? So we use both, like because both have their own usage.
So you are raising funds through Fairmint?
Yeah. If you go to, we're already like, so we don't market it because we're not our typical customer. But we use it first to eat on dog food and improve the product by using it. And second, to also showcase to our customers like what the experience look like and what they can expect. And so, and without any marketing to date, we raised $132,000. And that's crazy. Like it's literally like this thing of receiving money while you're not in the loop is crazy. Meaning we are being judged by our ability to execute and our ability to make Fairmint a great company. And so we focus on doing business. And if people that interact with us, trust what we are doing, then they can go on Fairmint and they say, hey, yeah, I'm going to put a few bucks on Fairmint because I love the guys and I think they are doing something great. And it is completely abnormal for an entrepreneur like me who's been raising funds like 5 times already, like in my lifetime, and to now like, okay, we just set it up and people can invest.
Okay, cool. Thibauld.
Alice.
Who are the people, the entrepreneurs among the family that you love spending time with on the phone, calling, or just you are happy to see them, or you dare asking them a lot of advice?
So that's a good question. There's many. So I'm a big fan of Serge from Shipfix.
I knew you would tell.
Serge is a machine. Like he's a machine. It is a machine, but he's also like extremely friendly. So I really appreciate Serge. And then like all the founders, like they have like crazy visions. Like for me, what drives me, what I love is then when people have crazy visions. So Guillaume from Agricool, I love it. Also like his fresh power. Like this is so cool. And no, who else? Like honestly, like the guys from Flat. Like it is a crazy product. Like the product is insanely good. And no, who else? Obviously, like I discount you guys, okay? Because obviously talking to Nicolas, to Osama, to you, to Balthazar, Matthias is always a pleasure. But in terms of entrepreneur, yeah, Charles from Comet. I also like deeply respect what is created. Yeah, like, there's so many. But I remember the good thing also, I don't know if many people know that, but like I don't know if you're still going to do that, but bringing all entrepreneurs together, because these are people that I really got to know because of you guys. Because like
we just announced that we wanted to go fully remote, you know.
Okay.
But it doesn't mean that I don't want to do the typical dinners and parties, of course.
But I was scared. But yeah, like these parties, and also like I remember like you organized a ski weekend at some point with like entrepreneurs. So good, and this is where like you can really bond and exchange ideas with everybody. That's extremely helpful. Like and this is when you get to know about people.
Mm-hmm. So just to talk a little bit, because we just have like a few minutes before the end of this amazing moment, my dear Thibauld. So how do you see the post-COVID era?
Well,
especially on your topic.
So
reinventing capitalism.
Yeah, this is, I think, this is going to be a pivotal moment in history where you see exactly capitalism change and move from this shareholder-centric capitalism to this stakeholder-centric capitalism. Now, like everybody has a voice, everybody is connected on the internet, everybody's creating value. The value of this companies comes from you and I using and your cat using services. And so it's just fair and normal that if we love a product and we use it and we're an ambassador for it, then we should be able to get access to it, to invest and get the financial upside. And so I think this really is going to trigger like the acceleration of this trend. And right now in this century, post-COVID, the biggest competitive advantage that you can build is having a community of highly incentivized stakeholders around your company. So if you want, I take an example, you want to recreate Uber. If you take the recipe that Uber used 10 years ago, you're going to fail against a competitor that's going to use like continuous financing and like really bind all this community of driver and user together to create the best services possible. And so yeah, for us, like I think COVID is going to trigger this. And then on a more like societal level, I think what I love is that finally cities are going to lose a little bit of their attractivity and their power. And so that is music to my ear, because for a long time, I've already said, like, why go in a city at the era of internet while you can do like anything remotely? Here I'm in a village called West Hartford. You would not know it. You cannot locate it in a map. And I have like now with COVID, I have all my meetups, all my talks from Zoom every day long. And so I live in a great place, great quality of life, and I'm not disconnected from anybody else who are in San Francisco, in Paris, or New York. That's a dream, honestly. So I still enjoy coming to the cities, but I think coming to the cities should more be a trip than like having to reside and live in the city. That's my personal opinion.
I like it.
I was not sure you were sharing that opinion.
I like it. Talking about the music in your ears, what is your favorite song right now? Like that's my last question. Like the song that makes you feel good in the morning, to wake up and to be happy.
Well, the only song that comes to mind right now is the song that so I have a 2-year-old that every night we listen to the same songs. And so that's my song right now. Like it's called Zoom Zoom Zoom.
Sing it for me, please.
Oh, you want me to? Okay, prepare. So it goes like this. Be attentive. It goes like zoom zoom zoom. We're going to the moon. Zoom zoom zoom. We're going to the moon. If you want to take a trip, climb aboard my rocket ship. Zoom, zoom, zoom. We're going to the moon.
Wow.
Ask me anytime. Thibauld, I do daycare during the day, entrepreneurship during the night.
To teach ambition, it's a perfect song.
Yes, exactly. So good. Like go for it. Like it's Michel. Go, Michel. You're going to the moon. Next step.
Thank you, Thibauld. It was really cool to spend this good time moment, good vibe moment together.
Yeah, that was good vibes. Thank you very much, Alice. I enjoyed it.
It was a pleasure. And for everybody who is here, you can now go to the networking moment. So you just have to click on networking. And every 5 minutes, you will meet with someone that you don't know. Someone who has been following this live, and why not someone with who you can talk about crypto, about raising funds, about starting a new company, about the post-COVID era, etc. It was a pleasure, and thank you, Joris, and thank you, everybody. Thank you, Thibauld.
Thank you, guys. Thank you for attending.
See you soon. Maybe on Zoom or on the moon.
Yeah.
Bye bye.